Good morning. It is the 27th of December, and I am back on the Vlogmas track to do my last few days. As you can tell, I'm back in my classroom. Christmas is over. My family has gone home, and I'm just going to give you a little reaction to my before Christmas plans versus the way they actually turned out. And I'm doing this because I know that I'm not the only person out there, especially teachers, that you plan all these like perfect scenarios in your head for how you're going to have an event turn out. And then just things happen and you just have to roll with it. But I will say before I start, this is like my little disclaimer that my Christmas was amazing. And even though it wasn't exactly how I pictured, there's very little that I would change. And I will talk to you about that in just a minute. So I'm going to play for you the video footage that I took as I was preparing for Christmas and compare it to what actually happened. So it's kind of like a reaction video to my own video. So I hope you enjoy this. Let's get into it. Merry Christmas Eve. I am finally back on here for Vlogmas Day 21, and let me tell you that the last 24 to 48 hours have not gone as planned, but that's okay. We're rolling with it. Nothing bad, just still recuperating. I really wore myself out apparently, and whatever it is that I'm getting over, it's just not an overnight thing. So it's like I do a little and then I crash, and then I do a little and I crash. But, you know, that's what Christmas break is for, right? Recuperating, and I'm just basically not pushing myself. I'm just doing things as I feel the energy. So, all right, so I currently have pieces of glue stick, strings of glue stick on my fingers. Let me show you what happened. I'm not sure if I should have been taping this or not because it was probably prime entertainment for you on a Christmas Eve. However, I was too busy saying naughty things under my breath at the fact that my centerpiece was not behaving. So here's what I was working. I got this idea off of Pinterest, of course, so you know how Pinterest is. It looks like it's gonna be easy, and then it's not. So here's what happened. I decided that I was going to do kind of like a foresty looking thing on this 3-tiered platter because I'm not using it for serving this year. I'm actually just using a new tiered platter that my husband bought me for Christmas last year. And yes, my table is still a mess, but we'll deal with that in a minute. So I decided I was going to use this as a decoration. So, I got up my extra pieces from my garland and a few ornaments and these little trees that I got from the Target dollar spot. And I started to put these on and realized that they weren't going to stay put unless I had some way of holding them down. So my first thought was double-sided tape. Didn't work. So second plan, rice. Would have been good if I would have had probably like another bag of rice, but I just had the end of a bag of rice because we don't eat a lot of carbs around here. So third thought, get the glue gun out, which would have worked except for the fact that this is the size glue gun that I have. And my glue sticks are this size. If you can't tell, those are the wrong size. So what I did was, and I'm not going to show you this poor cup, but I literally took one of my glue sticks and I put it in a sacrificial mug and microwaved it. And I'm not sure how great that is for my microwave either, but yeah, that's what I did. And then I took these trees and I stuck them down inside the mug, got the bottom sticky, and then put them on here. And this will come off later. I can just pop it off and scrape it off. If I have to, I'll freeze it and it'll come off. However, it has done what I needed it to do, which is hold these things in place. But now I've got all these little like pieces all over the place that I'm trying to get rid of without destroying what I did. So yeah. And then I've got some little pieces that I need to trim, like on my bow and stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on. But overall, I like the effect of it. This is going to go on my table up here. The way I'm going to do things this year is I'm going to cover this table with a tablecloth. And this will be our buffet table. And then over there, which right now I moved things from the table, so it's not completely clear. But I have this long coffee bar here that I'm going to use to put all my drinks and silverware and napkins and all that stuff. So then out on the table that we're eating at, which will be in our living room because that's where we have room for a table big enough for all of us, I'm going to put just simple things like butter and dressing and probably the rolls, that kind of stuff. So here's what I did. I sat down and made myself a timeline because, as you know, I'm a visual person. I've told you that before. And I like to have a timeline. Now, will this go exactly as planned? No, probably not. But it's given me something to focus on. And if I don't do a step, I'm going to see it. So I won't forget it. So here I am, Vlogmas Day, filming for day 21 right now. Then as soon as I finish with you guys, I have to go get ready for Christmas Eve service. We are having a Christmas Eve service at the beach. I'm going to go there with our daughters. It's actually not a service, it's a communion and it's drop-in. So we're supposed to be at that at 4. That's what time we agreed to go. And we're going to do pictures at my daughter's beforehand. So after I finish getting ready, I'm going to straighten up the guest room because as soon as I get home, Kelsey and Brock and Grayson will be coming pretty soon after that. So I want that to be ready. Then we have a long drive. So I put travel time in there, the picture time, and then our service time. On the way home, I'm hoping to catch some Christmas lights as we're going home. And then when I get home, I have some things that I need to prep for food. So first of all, my guests might be hungry. So I'm making a simple tortellini soup. And that can be cooking while I'm also making the mashed potatoes for my potato casserole for tomorrow. And I also have to make Chex Mix tonight. Then we're going to just kind of hang out, and any last minute little cleanings that I need to do, I will do that as I'm hanging out with the family. And before we go to bed tonight, I need to do some baking that I haven't done yet because I was just tired. So I got to do it tonight, but that's okay. Does anyone else think that this sounds a little unrealistic for a person who's just gotten over being sick? Yeah, I thought so. In hindsight, that was a little much for me to expect out of myself in one evening. After we got home, I sat around, watched some Christmas shows with Joe while we were waiting on the kids to get there. And I did make the tortellini soup. I'll show that to you in another video. But I really didn't do anything else that night. So I just decided I was running out of steam and I needed to go to bed, which actually was a smart decision for myself because otherwise I probably wouldn't have had anything left to interact with my family the next day and I would have been super stressed out and kind of cranky. So I went to sleep. I got a decent amount of sleep. I woke up at 5 a.m. and I did some of the prep work that I was expecting to do the day before. But Joe decided to put the ham in the oven right when I got up, so I couldn't do my cake first, which is what I was trying to do, so the cake would have time to set up. However, it worked out okay. It's just that at the last, we were all kind of like on top of each other in the kitchen a little bit, trying to get everything out the door. However, my oldest daughter was a godsend to me, and her Christmas gift to me was she kept the kitchen clean as I was going, which I'm just always trying to do all of it by myself. And I don't know why I do that to myself. She pointed out to me, she's right. I usually am throwing pots and pans right and left, and everything gets done and it's delicious. However, it's just a mess in my kitchen. And she just kept washing dishes and putting things away for me. And it was amazing because when we got done, we really didn't have too much mess to clean up. So I'm super grateful to her for that. When I wake up in the morning, I have realized that in order for me to have time to do my other casseroles and things, I'm gonna need to get up and put the ham in early. And then, people might not be ready to get up yet because that's pretty early. But whenever Grayson wakes up, that's pretty much when we're gonna get up. We also have to bring my grandmother's table upstairs because we store it in our we have a storage area under the house. It's not a basement, but our house is up on stilts. So we have that stored downstairs and we just bring it out for the holidays. So I'm going to my husband, the guys are going to bring that up, and then I'm going to decorate the table. And then I have my food timeline here so that I make sure that the oven is ready at the right time for different things. So in order for us to heat up the dishes that my girls are bringing, I need to make my mashed potato casserole in the morning and my stuffing. And then I'll just put a little extra liquid on my stuffing when I go to heat it back up so it won't be too dry. We're going to pull the ham out at 9, slice it, let it rest, all that while we decorate. Then I can bake the casseroles, and then at 11, when people start showing up, we can heat up all of the dishes that they're bringing and set the table and bake the rolls at the end and be ready to eat. So the ham didn't go in at 9. It went in early, so that threw everything else off, as I said. However, the other caveat was that my girls arrived at noon, not at 11. So we basically got done with all of our preparations and ate at 1 instead of eating, a little after noon, but that's okay. It did take a little longer than expected to get everything on the table, but everything, was ready in enough time that people weren't starving. I did not have the Chex Mix baked until afterwards because of the whole thing with the oven being occupied at the time when I was planning on doing the Chex Mix and me not doing it the night before. So it was funny because everyone was excited about the Chex Mix and they got there and it was sitting on the table, but it hadn't been baked yet. So people were like munching on it before it was even in the oven. But it worked out. We got it put in the oven and we munched on it later in the afternoon and all through the evening as our oldest daughter was staying with us. So we had lots of munchies and snacks for later that evening when we didn't really want a meal per se because we'd had the big, lunchtime meal, but we needed a little something. So it worked out. In the end, I sent some people home with Chex Mix because I had made so much of it. And I sent them home with the sheet cake as well. So we didn't have too many leftovers that I didn't want to eat. I felt like it was the right amount. And I was so glad that I had spent time cleaning out my fridge because that was just one less thing that I had to worry about in all of the chaos. But we ended up doing our presents afterwards, and the presents, they took a while because, we had a lot of people there and I like to go around one at a time and watch everyone. Of course, towards the end, they get impatient and they just start opening them anyway, but they know that that's like a big moment for me is watching them get their gifts, and I just love giving gifts to people. So I really enjoyed that part. And, we were there with Grayson that morning and got to watch him open his gifts from Ho-Ho. That's what he calls Santa. And he had a great time and it was magical. The whole plan that I had to make things magical, it was magical. However, the one thing that I really am disappointed in that I forgot about because of all the chaos of everything happening in different times than I expected, I once again forgot that we were supposed to read the Christmas story, and that is the only thing that I am super bummed out about because our faith is a huge part of the holiday, and we all know what's going on in the background. And it's the reason for everything that we're doing. I mean, giving gifts to people at Christmas is not commercial. It's just that people forget that the reason why we give gifts is because God gave us the ultimate gift, Jesus Christ. And also, because the three wise men brought gifts, so it's a way for us to remember the story that we give gifts to others, to remember that God gave us the ultimate gift, and also, the Christmas story that the three wise men brought gifts. And it's a celebration of love for each other, which, the main purpose of Jesus coming to the world was to save us and to show God's love for us. So giving gifts to others is a way for us to show our love to them, and to remember the reason for the season. But I just felt like things got a little bit fast and crazy, and they needed to slow down a little bit. But sometimes these things happen because our family needed to go somewhere in the evening, so we weren't able to do dinner, take our time, slow down, make it in an afternoon and an evening meal. So because of that, we just adjusted and we flexed, and that's what we do for each other, that when we have multiple family get-togethers going on, we just respect each other's needs to be different places. And so I think overall it worked out really well. I do wish we would have read the Christmas story, but we had a really nice prayer, and our time at Christmas Eve was wonderful this year. They did something new where they made people go around and tell what they were thankful for in 2021 that God has done for them. And so I think that moment of reflection was really powerful. For Grayson's sake, I wish that we would have sat down and read the Christmas story and talked about Jesus before we opened the gifts. But, it is what it is. And life goes on. Jesus is 365 days a year, not just Christmas Day. So we can still go back and read that story and reflect on the true meaning of Christmas. But overall, like I said, there's very little that I would change. We had a great time. It was a wonderful fellowship with family. It was wonderful seeing everyone there opening their gifts and everybody sitting around in the living room together, even with the mess that we created with that many people and that many presents. But I enjoyed it thoroughly, and we're getting ready to take off to help our daughter bring some gifts home because she had 2 family get-togethers to go to, and they could not fit all of the gifts in the car. So we're actually driving to Virginia today, and then we're going to go pick up my sister for a little impromptu visit. So I'm super excited about that. I am doing a little traveling, but I feel up to it. But I have to get off of here because, my time is running short. But I will see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 22. Everybody have a great day. Don't forget to work hard, be kind, and amazing things will happen. Bye-bye. Whoa, there's even more. There's Groot.
Okay, Iron Man, Rocket, Thor, Spider-Man, Groot.
That's going to be a cool bed.